Adrian, Bott, you've had mixed success or mixed luck at the barrier draw for the Sydney Cup this morning. Firstly, Military Mission drawn out widest of all. Does that really matter for him though, given he'll probably go forward?
Look, may force his hand to go back on this occasion. I know his last few runs he has gone forward. I think we've sort of just rode the race conditions on that occasion, smallish sort of fields that sort of lacked real pace, and so we sort of had to ride him a little bit out of position in that regard. So I thought with that his runs have been very honest, and they've been at weight for age level. So look, dropping back to handicap here, obviously he's got to carry the top weight, but I feel if there's a little bit of speed on, we can ride him that little bit more conservative, which is more the pattern that we've seen from him, particularly if you sort of go back and look through his form there in the spring. That's sort of how he's very successful.
We saw him at the 2 miles in the Melbourne Cup, ran a very creditable race. This obviously a different type of staying contest, but how do you think he'll handle the 2 miles here?
Look, I think having had that run in the Melbourne Cup now, it's obviously a benefit to him. First attempts always difficult, so he's had that grounding last campaign, and I feel he's had a good build up and a good grounding for it this time round. So I feel he's capable of handling it. I thought he ran very well in the Cup itself and what was a high pressure race. So more than happy to be testing him at it once again.
You've got a pair of Derby winners as well. Let's start with the Epsom Derby winner, Serpentine, who is racing in such great heart at the moment.
He is, and look, that's why we're tempted to test him here at this race once again. Sort of looking through his 2 mile form, it's not great, but I do feel we haven't had him in as good a form as what we do now. He's going in with plenty of confidence. He's had a nice grounding. We've always kept a few options open for him this preparation, depending on which way we felt best to prepare him. But we've always kept the Sydney Cup open for him, and I feel now's the right time to attempt that once again. He's had a good ground. He's in good form, and happy to test him.
And he'll be one who probably does roll forward.
Yeah, he's got a nice soft draw, and that's sort of his pattern that he likes to. That suits him well, and he's comfortable there. He can find a nice rhythm, and he does like to sort of pick up and enjoys a challenge there early in the piece that we've seen his last couple of runs. But most likely looking to roll forward from that low draw.
And last year's Australian Derby winner in Major Beale, a horse that has always shown potential. But what do you think about him getting out to the 2 miles?
Yeah, look, more than happy to test him over that, because he was very effective in the Australian Derby. On very testing conditions. That was, I think, a heavy 9 on that day. So no doubt that was testing of his stamina there, difference against the 3-year-olds. And I think that's why it's just taken him that sort of season or two to sort of really take that jump into open company. You're now forced to take on the Europeans and some superior stayers. So it's just taken him that little bit of time to say acclimatise to that level and have that grounding. And he's had a good lead up. He's coming through some different form lines. He's had plenty of work in Melbourne. He's been over a few hurdle trials to get a grounding and just to mix up the routine and switch him on a bit this campaign.
And he's another one who's obviously got that soft draw too.
Yeah, so we've got a few options for him. If we do think a softer run over the 2 miles will be suitable, we can sort of let the race unfold around him there. He's got the options, but he's also got the tactical speed to be able to sort of try and lead up and control a race like this as well.
Looking at some of your other runners, Tropical Squall in the Queen of the Turf, the Coolmore Legacy. She was a filly that you did try getting out over further, but she's been so effective at that 7 furlongs mile mark.
Yeah, so that's why we elected to keep her here to the mile race. There was a question whether we went to the Doncaster and backed her up here, or just focused on the Doncaster or the Mares race. Thought the Doncaster had a lot of depth and just felt going into this race a bit fresh and just keeping it to the mare's grade for now. The 3-year-olds have got I feel a decent record in this particular race. She's been excellent at that trip. I thought she was very, very brave in the Coolmore and under handicap conditions. I thought she stuck on very well. She enjoys Randwick, some of her best racing's been here. She's Group 1 winner over the mile already. So looking forward to seeing her take her place.
In the Arrowfield Sprint, Red Resistance goes around. Was such a good 2-year-old, and has obviously taken him a little bit of time to get back to the track.
Yeah, he had a while off the scene there. So one of the favourites for the Golden Slipper 12 months ago, and we haven't sort of really seen much from him in that time. First up, I thought he ran well. He just raced a little bit fresh the first time back to the races. I think the occasion just got to him. He was a bit above himself pre-parade and in the run itself. So hopefully now with that run, he's had a jump out back at home in between races, because he was scratched at Rose Hill the other day. So it's been a bit of a bumpy ride so far, this preparation, but hopefully he can bounce back, because no doubt on his day he's a very talented horse.
Just looking to the Percy Sykes, and you talk gun 2-year-olds, and Lady of Camelot, she's just been so tough, so tough in that Blue Diamond, and then obviously coming out and winning the Golden Slipper. Do you think that this is that it's worked out in her favour? That obviously last weekend was a wet track, and you're able to go to the Percy Sykes instead of the Size Produce? Yeah,
potentially, and look, it's a good backup option to have. Obviously, we felt the conditions weren't going to suit her on Saturday, and that was going to be a bit of a risk running such a valuable filly on. At the time when we had to make the call, the ground was quite heavy and questionable, and getting out to the 1400 metres for the first time, we just felt maybe this was the safer option. In hindsight, whether that was the right call or not, the track played very well, but it's good to have that backup option of a tailor-made race here, where she's dropping back against the 2-year-old fillies. They're racing for the same amount of prize money and $1 million, and she's remaining at probably what's her most effective trip in the 1200 metres. So there was a lot of logical reasons to say she should be kept for this weekend. She's got to carry that little bit of weight, but obviously she's a class filly, and looking forward to seeing her back at the races.
Stable's been so strong with their 2-year-olds this year. What's been the secret to bringing the best out of your 2-year-olds? Look,
we've had some fantastic support, and that's got to be the key. We've been able to be given the right opportunities with the right 2-year-old horses, the precocious and mature types that people feel were going to be effective at 2, and we've been able to manage those and take them through their respective races, and hopefully we've been able to get that mostly right this season. But it's certainly got to come down to having the right horse to work with, and with that people have been giving us some amazing opportunities.